So let us begin. I get this question a lot, and quite honestly, this question is something which is depending on the day you ask any one of us, you might get different answers. The idea and the reason for that is when you look at the marketplace and the current solutions. So I have plotted a few of the most prominent ones that people generally talk about when they talk to us. There are hundreds, on if not thousands more, depending on what you're using, depending on your needs. You may be using different tools, you may be using different recruiting platforms, you might be using some ATS systems. So then we get compared to all these systems, and then people ask us, hey, you are a job board, or are you a recruitment platform where we can do outbound hiring? And then we end up explaining with this picture. But you know what? Let's just cut it short. Uh, that picture that you saw in the previous slide is pretty complicated. At the end of the day, as a user, as somebody who's hiring, you care about the solution, or you care about whether your problem is getting solved or not. So let me just introduce CutShort in a way that, CutShort is a natural response to the bad, noisy world of hiring. What CutShort is doing, it is reimagining recruiting. And when you say reimagining recruitment, that means whatever has happened, whatever has been the conventional way of doing things, can be reimagined recruitment from scratch together. In terms of technology, for example, a lot of people are talking about AI and machine learning, deep learning, and all of that, those kind of technologies being used in recruitment. So we would, take a pause there and say, hey, this is all the AI and all the exciting tech, geeky stuff is great, but it has to be practical. So we are reimagining recruitment with technology, with the key operator there being practical. So technology where it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, then we would rather just leave it more practical. If you have to, if you force me to describe CutShort in one sentence, then I would say it's very similar to like the way Amazon is solving or making your shopping experience frictionless. CutShort is making your recruitment experience frictionless, and it doesn't matter to us whether it is going to be outbound, inbound, whether it is like a job portal, or this feature is like an ATS, or this feature is like some other system for assessment, are you an assessment platform, and all those things. We don't care. What we care about is, can we solve the recruitment problem? And whatever requires us to solve the problem, CutShort will look at that and try to make it happen for you. So this is what essentially CutShort can let you do today. So you can combine your sourcing and candidates from multiple places like job boards, your career website, your social networks. You can also source from CutShort, of course. We have a very high quality talent pool, which is increasing and growing very fast. So in addition to the CutShort's community of people coming from startups and product companies and other companies, and these people are all similar in a way that they are passionate about what they do. They want to have a great, meaningful work experience and career experience. And these people you can find on CutShort. But in addition to these people, you can also combine your applicants from multiple other sources, and all of that you combine together, and then CutShort gives you some additional benefits like filtering out the bad matches, doing a relevance check for you, figuring out some more stuff that we will talk about later in this webinar. So once you have consolidated your entire applicant pool, CutShort helps you focus on the best high potential candidates, and then it helps you engage with the candidates to close the hiring process faster. And then at any appropriate time, you can export to different systems, you can export, or you can have any other tool that you're using. So idea of CutShort being that you decide your workflow, you make a decision, and then CutShort technology and CutShort platform will make that happen. This is a typical needle in a haystack problem, that how do you find relevant candidates, right? You can, of course, find if you spend hours and weeks and months into it, but then that's where your efficiency is taking a hit. So how can you find relevant candidates? So we're going to just talk about two problems that normally happens in sourcing. So let's look at the first problem, which is the keyword search. Now, most of the people, when we are looking for some talent pool to fill a role, we are searching on a keyword or on a skill. The problem which is happening right now in the market is that skills are changing very fast. Like 2 years ago, or something Angular was the most important or most prominent language which was used in front end. Now that title has gone to React. Skills in this market will keep on coming and keep on going. Some of them will get traction and they will look like, okay, this is what you want, but they will be very, very soon disrupted by something else or replaced or complemented by something else. And second one is same skill is used in different job functions. So there was a time when you could just say, hey, I want Java, and then when you are searching for Java, you only get Java developers. So even beyond tech, if you look at marketing, which used to be like marketing is only a function of a marketer, but now marketing is also used by some other job roles to figure out how to message their work properly. Maybe they have assisted marketing, so you might see a marketing keyword on their resume, but they are not marketers. Right, and one of the fundamental problems also is that keywords, when you're searching on keywords, keywords are a flat list. They can tell you whether the keyword is present or not in a specific document or in a specific resume. And which is hard because there is no flat list of keywords. If you ask me what skills I have, I can tell you I have 25, 30 skills. But am I really strong enough in all those 25, 30 skills? No, I'm going to be very strong at two or three of them. I'm going to be moderately strong on, let's say, five or six of them. And then other 10, 15 would be the ones that I had worked on in my previous job or something, but they're not relevant to my core strengths. Keywords get stuffed in the resume all the time. Now, this is a race to bottom kind of an example where you are trying to search for candidates, you are forced to use more keywords. Candidates know in turn that they are getting searched on keywords, hence they start using more and more keywords. And as a platform, if we solve these four problems, then we can actually save collectively a lot of time for everyone in this webinar today by making it easy for you to identify the right talent based on all these four solutions to all these four problems. So let me just look at how Cutshort helps in solving the previous problems that I just talked about. So skills change fast, hard to keep track. So Cutshort has from its algorithm and machine learning, we have created a skill map that gets updated all the time, and we have the dynamic skill map for every resume, for every kind of job function. So what is hot, what is not hot, what are the correlated keywords. So the Cutshort already has understanding of that. So you don't have to specify all the keywords when you're searching or when you're specifying. Cutshort understands what all keywords might be used, and then it picks up those keywords to find out or increase the relevance of the candidates which come in your job matches. Now, second problem which we talked about is same skill is used in different job functions. So that's why Cutshort, when I went to, and Cutshort works on the concept of matches. It does not work on the concept of a skill search or keyword search. You don't have to run a query or something on a database. You just add a role, we understand the job, based on the job description, we find out the most relevant people. Keywords are a flat list, right? So the way we Cutshort solves that is getting a map of what are the strong skills that someone has, and it comes from multiple sources. So we look at a resume, try to figure out how many projects they have worked on with that specific skill set. Then we also look at their social signals or social breadcrumbs which they have on, let's say, on their blog, on the GitHub and Stack Overflow, the kind of people they are following on Twitter. Keyword gets stuff all the time, so that's again a problem. We are solving this problem in multiple ways. So first of all, by moving away from keywords as a primary criteria for a match and doing all those three things that we talked about earlier, we are training and educating everyone that don't get fixated on the keywords. Focus on the job function, focus on what are you looking at, what kind of job role you have, and then moving away from keywords so that people don't actually start reducing their stuffing that they're doing on job description as well as stuffing in the resumes. The second problem, so first problem was with the keyword, and second problem is the context. Conventional platforms, conventional way that we have been searching for talent, or we have been searching for the right fit for our companies. What we have been doing is we have been somehow hacking together a list of companies that we should be looking for. When a company like Flipkart searches people, they will choose companies like Amazon, will choose company like Snapdeal or something, just to get the context right. But then there's also a company context which says, hey, what kind of company this candidate has worked in? Has this candidate worked in a startup? Or has this candidate worked in an MNC? And they're very two different, two very different types of people who work in startups and who work in MNCs. Then all of this context is important for companies. And then a lot of companies also use educational background. And this is something which is conventional wisdom again says that people have this master list of education institutes that you want to hire from. So they will say, hey, we want only tier 1 tech institutes, and we all have seen all these job postings. But if you look at it, nobody is saying that. All they're saying is that I need a good education background. But eventually it is the intent that matters. The intent is to look for people who are coming from good promising institutes. They may come from IITs, or they may come from local institutes that are very good in your geography. And that context again is something which is a data-driven, it's better done in a data-driven approach rather than again in a hacky way of figuring out all those education institutes. The previous problems, how Cutshort helps is we set intelligent defaults for your company and hiring preferences. So if you come from startups, if you come from product companies, if you come from e-commerce or fintech, your defaults are already set without you having to do anything. So there is a company in fintech you don't know about, it's perfectly fine, because Cutshort has a data which enables us to still rank the right talent for your company based on the context and the preferences. And then we also learn from hidden patterns from actions. So these, like whatever we discussed in the past, is mostly conventional wisdom that we are looking for skills, we're looking for education institutes, we're looking for fintech, healthcare, big company setup, and all of that. But there also is a path, there also is a pattern that exists, which we also sometimes are not very clear about. For example, at Cutshort, we normally, naturally gravitate towards people who have some kind of previous startup experience. When you say startup experience, actually experience of starting something on their own. That is a leadership kind of experience, a leadership kind of trait. Now, it's very hard to capture that in a keyword. If you look at a resume, a person who has done a startup may not write leadership as a skill set, but that's a skill set the person has shown. The person has shown leadership and risk taking. It's not a skill, but it's a property of the resume, and it's a meta property. So these are things that through technology, based on your yes and no, when you say yes to a candidate or no to a candidate, the system is learning from your actions. Again, this is something which is where technology is going and which is where the future is. You don't want to be doing all the same hard work all the time. Eventually, the system has to become better and better. And I keep going back to the analogy that today Spotify knows my music tastes better than I myself. And same thing with recruiting. You don't have to teach, you don't have to learn, you don't have to do knowledge transfer to your colleagues. Eventually, it has to be codified. Eventually, it has to be learned by the software. Let me just go and switch to demo, so we can show you the product and how it works. I'm going to show you how the matchmaking and relevance part works. So as I said, the key concept in Cutshort is a concept of a job and matches. As compared to a skill-based search, you add jobs. So these are all the jobs that I have. This is my dashboard. So these are the people who are matching your role on Cutshort. But as I said earlier, Cutshort is not just a sourcing platform. So you can also get candidates from external platforms and manage them here. I have these skills that I'm looking for. These skills give some context. These skills are also used in some sort of similar skills or correlated skills kind of a logic in the algorithm. And then I can say, hey, I'm more looking for Node.js, or let's say in this internship, I'm looking more for data science kind of experience. And then I can have cities, I can, this is important to get right. We suggest based on your job description, what is the most closest job type or job function type, you feel free to change this. This will have impact on the matches that you will get. We will try to guess it, but you are always free to change it. I just added a job. So this, based on my company context, so this is what I was talking about earlier. Based on who I am and who Cutshort is, system automatically picks up some of the recommendations or suggested companies that are in your similar domain. So you can pick up those companies. And then alongside, you can also see that there are some company collections that Cutshort has created, and it suggests those company collections that you can have. So these are the SaaS companies. Anybody in SaaS, and as a SaaS company, if you're looking for, let's say, a sales role, then you prefer somebody from SaaS. Then you have different kind of industry verticals like apparel, travel, and all of that. And you also have B2B. If you are looking for sales, you might prefer someone from B2B background, or technology companies or internet companies. So you can choose all of that, and you can also have a negative list. So we again make it default based on your company type. So if you are a startup, then we have learned that people prefer people from startups and don't prefer from big companies. So that's already in your negative list. But then you can add more, or you can remove it, or you can add more. And then you can also suggest that, these are my institutes that I prefer for this role. Now here, conventional way is to put like IIT Delhi or something. We are moving away from that and saying when you choose IIT Delhi, you will see these suggestions here. So when I chose IIT Delhi, I saw tier 1 institutes in India. So these are all the tier 1 institutes, not only tech, but also management, also arts, BCom, or whatever it is. But these are the this reflects a good educational background for a leadership role or something else. So you might choose this. If you're looking for engineers, then there's a tier 1 tech institute in India that is created by the system automatically. So you can pick up this if you are not fixated on IITs, but you're saying, hey, anybody from good tier 1 tech institute is it's a good match. And then you can also, if you're in Delhi, since you chose IIT Delhi, we also have collections and this again keeps on getting updated based on the reputation of the institute. So if you look at it, I've got one from Delhi College of Engineering based on because I had chosen top tier institutes, and I also chose good college in Delhi as my criteria. You can now change and customize the algorithm. So if you're saying, hey, I want a more tighter skill match, then you can increase the weightage of that. If you are looking for more industry context, you can increase the weightage of that. If you're looking for more institute match, then you can increase the weightage of that. And based on all of this, your results will change. Now, what I've done is I've improved the relevance of candidates. This algorithm is going to rank people who are applying for my job as well. So these are the people I'm reaching out to on Cutshort. And then I can also see incoming applications, and the same algorithm will be used to rank those incoming applications as well. How do you manage the hiring process, right? So you've got 25, 30 good applications. Now, what happens today is and that's where so far most companies, they're able to get all the candidates, but they don't know what to do with the next process. And that's where Excel sheets start coming out. That's where Trello boards start coming out. This is where the delays happen. This is where somehow recruiter goes in their own island of looking at reviews, or getting the candidates reviewed by their management, calling up, people not picking up phones, meetings are not happening, assessment is waiting, you have sent assessment, candidate is not replying to not taking the test, and you are stuck, right? So this is what is the first part of the battle is complete. The second part of the battle is that whatever you have got, like 25, 30 candidates or potential matches, how do you close out of them? So the problem that we are seeing in this space is that once you have got these applicants, your candidate pipeline is completely scattered. So you are sourcing on 4 or 5 platforms. Some platforms are asking you to log into their system. Some platforms are sending you emails. Some platforms are sending you emails attached with the resume. You download the resume, you're putting them in a nice Dropbox folder or something. But then it's all scattered. We have no idea who is coming from where, who is a good match, what is the status we are in, and hence we again we'll cook our of solution to manage this process using an Excel sheet or something. Then qualifying candidates is a pain. So you got 25, 30 candidates who are looking to be relevant candidates for your job. Now, how do you qualify that? You are in Bangalore, or they might be in Delhi, or can they move? Can they relocate? What kind of salary level they are at? Will it be a match for you? What is the notice period they have? Will they be able to join you sooner or later, or as soon as you want them to join, right? So those are the things. And then you also want to ask, maybe do some initial level of skill check. So when you're calling, let's say, a product management person, you want to know, hey, you actually do what kind of product management experience you have done, because product management and digital marketing, these are all the things that everybody says they have done, but you need to have some context of what kind of digital marketing you have done. Is it largely based on ads? It is based on content? It is based on something else, or is it growth hacking? So how do you know? How do you qualify candidates so that you can, without wasting time, you getting more data upfront, without having to call or again ask them on email or something, right? Which is where the delays happen. The interview scheduling again is a problem. You pick up the phone, you try to schedule, the person is not available. Now person is not available, you again make a mark and then you have to follow up with the person next week. All of that again is adding to the delay. Sending assessments. So you have assessments, and this is again somewhere as a community of recruiters, we get this wrong. Before investing too much time, we want them to take assessment so that you can have an idea about their skill set. But at the same time, if you don't invest time into the candidate, they also don't feel motivated enough to take time or invest time to take your assessment. So the key or the art of assessment is to send a very shorter assessment, which is a very clear, crisply defined assessment. And then how can you send that? How can you get the responses back fast? And you can only, if you're showing promise of being responsive, then only they will take the test. If you are already delayed by 7 days or 10 days, they know that they may not actually get a faster reply from you, and they would rather focus on some other job applications where they're getting faster responses. Then again, you have to work with your colleagues, you have to collaborate with them, you have to take their opinion, you have to pass on the candidates to them. And at the same time, as I said, you need to deliver a good candidate experience. If they are not getting responses from you, they don't know where they stand, they will turn to a detractor of your brand, not only your employer brand, but as a company brand. And then even if you roll out an offer to them, they may be anxious about joining a company. So how Cutshort helps in solving this problem? You have scattered candidate pipeline. Today, what you do with Cutshort, you get a great flexible tool called Workflow to consolidate your hiring, consolidate your applicant pool from multiple sources. You can compare them. So you compare which sources are working out better, and you can improve your sources so that let's say you're getting more applicants from a specific source, but they're not of high quality. Then you rather focus on something which is giving you more high quality. So you can compare and change and measure and improve. Then qualifying candidates is a pain. So how do you qualify without spending too much of time? And that's where I'm going to show you a demo. So modern way to qualify even while you're sleeping. Can you do that? With Cutshort Workflow, you can. Interview scheduling, you don't have to keep on talking to or calling people to schedule interviews. You can leave it to your assistant and only take over when the assistant is not able to get you a fast meeting or something. Then maybe you pick up the phone. But you first, at the first level, first step, you leave it to the assistant, which is we call your assistant Voila, which can help you set up meetings and interviews. And you can send assessments. So you might use our test. We have created some tests. We are creating more and more. You can create your own test, or you can create something, or you can use something which you're already using in some other platform, like let's say Metal or HackerEarth or something else. And how do you keep candidates updated? So the biggest problem with keeping candidates updated is that either you are stuck, so you don't have any updates to give to them, or you have the updates, but it's just taking too much of time for you to reply to everyone or sending them emails. And that's where a productivity issue comes in. So you just decide on CutShort, you say, hey, this is in this category, or even if it is taking you time, you can just create, a stage saying, hey, I'm gonna get back to you in 2 weeks or something. So you're always communicating, and you just decide, and your AI assistant updates the candidates on your behalf. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the CutShort application and show you how this part of the process works. So I talked about how do you qualify people, uh, while you're sleeping. So if you, this is the workflow tool that I was referring to. This is like this is a simple dashboard for all of your jobs. All of your jobs are listed here. For all of your jobs, these are the people on CutShort. If you want to source from CutShort, these are the people I've already messaged, contacted from CutShort. These are more people that I can view and message, and these are CutShort users who signed up here to find new opportunities, so you can contact them. You can also get your job link from here, right? So you can share, or you can get the job link, and then ask people on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on other job platforms. When you're adding up job on LinkedIn, for example, you can say, hey, applications to be made through this link, and all those candidates start coming in the application stage. So this is outbound. Sort of, I'm reaching out to these people. These are the people I've already reached out to. When they say yes and they're interested, they will be moved to the connected stage, which is like the people I've been connected with, and I want to take it forward, the conversation forward with them. And these are the people who have applied. So if I say take forward, they are also going to land up in this connected stage. So this stage will have all the people who are uh, who are introduced to me. So there is a bi-directional interest in each other, and now I can have my own process. So I can create more. I can create stages to manage my to reflect my hiring process. So, for example, in this role, what we have is an application and content stage. Then what I typically do is typically send them an assignment. After assignment, if the assignment is good, then there's a first interview. I'm going to show you why it is so powerful. So, what automations you can do to make the entire process smooth and effortless for you. So the first one I was saying that you can qualify people while you're sleeping. So anybody who applies to your job, uh, you can have you can ask them a question, you can send them a message, and in a new feature that is coming up soon, you will be able to request an audio response from them. So in this example, since this role is for marketer, what I want to know is I want them to record a small audio, and this is like explain a product that you use actively to a friend. So I'm trying to check how well they communicate, how well they understand the how well they understand a product and the features, and how easily they can explain it to a friend. This is a basic check I want to do for anybody who is applying to my job. Now, what happens is once somebody applies, they come to this stage, the card gets added here, the automation is active, and this automation will be triggered. So in this case, the automation has already happened, and this candidate has already sent me a recording of the audio. So I'm just going to play that.
You don't have to just put the next best specifications in their phone and sell it, because
Let's start from
every time you see an iPhone advertisement, you notice that Apple never really talks about its specifications. And that's because that's what Samsung does, and that's what MI does. You see, for Apple to create the next best phone, they don't have to just put the next best.
Okay, so you can listen to the recording or the audio here, and then you can decide whether this person is a good enough investment of your time. If you think it's a high potential, you can take forward, or you can reject. You can have again, rejected is a stage here, so you can have your own automation. I typically ask them that, hey, it didn't work out this time because of the job role mismatch, but we would love to be in touch, and let's stay connected on LinkedIn. So I make it, a warm message for them to make sure that they are, getting good experience and they're referring their friends to us. Then I can just take forward, and I have no automation in this stage. So I could have had automation in this stage as well. So I could have a message triggered to them. I could have had an assessment test being sent to them. An assessment test, as I said, you can have like a test provider can be cut short, in which case we have so many other tech skills. We're also going to add digital marketer test. We're also going to add DevOps test, product management. So all those tests will be available from CutShort as a source. You can create your own. So you can create a form or your own questions or multi-project type questions, or you can create any third-party test like Metal and then refer to them, and then they will send the test through Metal or through that provider, or get the interview score or the test score from them, and automatically update the card here so that you know that who are the people who passed, so they can focus on them first. So that's the automation that you can do in every stage. So in this case, I have a stage called send assignment. And in this assignment, I have said, hey, have you managed any social handles? Can you please share the links of post campaigns you were in charge of or something? It may be a Google Doc, something where you have an assignment, you want them to take it and submit through GitHub. All of that is possible. So it's a free form text you can write inside message. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop this candidate to this stage, and you can see that whatever the automation will start getting triggered. There is some lead time so that you can reverse the action if you want. It waits for some time before it does the action. So in this case, I just dropped it. I'm just gonna leave this candidate here, and you will see that soon you will see here a message from Voila, which is my AI assistant. It will say the automation has been triggered. So what I'm going to do is, let's say this person responded to the assignment and assignment was good. Then what I can do is I can drop him to the next thing, and which is next stage is first interview. So this is, as I said, this is an interview type of stage. My automation here is set up interview. I have chosen a meeting, so I want to make it quick. So I have chosen 15 minutes of meeting. I can choose any of my team members for the meeting. So in this case, I have chosen myself. These are the preferences I normally take, I prefer for the interviews. So on weekdays, Monday to Friday, I normally do it 5 to 7. Saturday, I'm only available in the afternoon, so I don't keep it on any other time. If my evening is different, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., I can go ahead and make my evening, let's say I don't want to make it 5 to 7, it's too late, I have travel, so I can just make it 5 to 4 to 6 or something, and then apply this for all the evening slots. So all the evening slots will become 4 to 6. So I can change it as per my schedule, and I can just say, hey, this is a call, and then I update it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop this candidate to this stage, and you will start seeing Voila will send interview requests. So let's say I have 15-20 people. So let me just recap. People applied here. I set up an automation for an audio response. They started recording audio. I looked at that audio response. Since this is a marketing role, I requested an audio response. You can also request audio response for tech. So let's say you are looking for, you want to ask them, hey, how many projects you have done in JavaScript, or have you handled this kind of scale? You can ask those questions there and listen to the recording. Based on that, now you can drag and drop. So I sent them an assignment. This assignment was a send message automation. Then this automation was interview. So I just dragged and dropped this candidate for a phone interview. Now Voila has started work scheduling interviews. You can see here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just switch to the candidate view and see if the candidate has got. So you can see this is the candidate experience. What has happened is candidate has got a response, a message from Voila, which is the AI assistant, even for the candidate. So this is the Voila is an assistant that everybody gets. Like Alexa can serve multiple users. Voila also serves multiple users. When it is talking to you, it understands your preference. When it is talking to the candidate, it becomes their best friend and communicates with them. So you can say, hey, Voila is coming and saying, hey, Nikunj Verma wants to schedule an interview with you, and candidate clicks on the slot. Now this is coming from my preferences that I had provided in the previous setting. So based on the interviewer's preference, I said 4 p.m. You remember I said 4 to 6, so it started giving me slots from 4 to 6. And if I, as a candidate, I'm not happy, I can keep on requesting more slots. Whenever I'm good, I choose that, and the candidate can just stop and confirm, and that's it. So the interview is scheduled. I can go back to my screen now, and you can see that, and you should be able to see meeting scheduled 7 July 2 p.m. So I can click on this candidate and right, and I can see that the meeting has been scheduled. I can add to the calendar. The meeting invite also would be in my inbox. 30 minutes before the meeting, I will also get a reminder email and notification from Voila saying, both parties will get the notification so that they don't miss the interview. By this, we have what we have seen is, since it is now much more organized, people don't miss the calls. When you have a very casual way of saying, hey, tomorrow 2 p.m. we'll call, you have to keep on reminding them. But here, the reminder and everything else is taken care of. And candidate got a good experience, so they're going to also save, and they might also have a mobile app through which they will also get a notification. So your meetings will happen without any interference or any special effort on your part, and they will happen on time without you having to remind anyone. So that's the meeting automation part. And then you can have like cold storage or rejection stage. You want to be nice while you are rejecting someone, so you can do entire all of that customization here. So that's what if you look at the promise is you just drag and drop, you decide what you want to happen, and voila, or your AI system will make it happen. And with this, you can think about what else you can do. So you can, it's pretty flexible. So whatever automation you want to activate, let's say after this stage, after interview stage, you want to take them out to your ATS or some other system. You want to export them to CSV or whatever you want to do. So all of that can be a step here. So if I want to export these candidates to an ATS system, I want to export a CSV, I want to put them in some different system software, I can do all of that by this automation. What you can do here is you can do recruitment at scale. So if you have, let's say, internship roles, if you have sales role, if you're looking for, let's say, 2-year PD, people to augment your sales force, all of that can be done here much more powerfully because all of that automation is already set. People apply, they get, you get a good input from a good idea about their skill set, or the relevance is happening. So all these candidates are already sorted based on the relevance, which is not only skill or keyword based, but it is also based on your company context. And then you also have your own workflow, you have your assessment, you have your audio input, then you have your meetings. All of that is moving fast, and what used to take you, weeks or months to close, or you can close in a week, and with 1/5 the effort that you were making earlier.